Hello, bonjour, je m'appelle Oscar. Ça va très bien. Qu'est-ce que tu fais aujourd'hui? Je ne sais pas. Alright, so we're continuing on page 75. So, chapter 9 was about the visit to Jeff, plus food and stuff. Grant's still angry. No, he's not really angry. He just doesn't want to do this. How do you explain that? He's unmotivated, like unmotivated to do this, but he's just doing it because of his aunt. If his aunt wasn't telling him to do it, he would not do it. Okay. Chapter 10. Let me take some quick sip of water. Alright. Our next two visits went pretty much as the first one did. I picked up Miss Emma at her house at around 1:30. My aunt was always there with her, and after she had settled down into the back seat of the car, we drove in silence all the way into Bayonne. Each time we arrived 5 or 10 minutes before the hour. The food was searched. I was asked to take everything out of my pockets, then told to put everything back into my pockets, and we were led down the narrow, dark wood corridor. Passing open office doors where white men and white women carried out their daily routines. The deputy walked a step ahead of us with Miss Emma directly behind him and me beside her. At the end of the corridor, we would climb the steps to the first landing where the deputy would wait a minute to allow Miss Emma to catch her breath. Then we would continue on and up to the next floor and through the heavy steel door to the cell block. The prisoners would hear us coming and they would stand at the cell doors with their hands stuck out between the bars. As she had done for the first time with Miss Emma promised that they could have the food Jefferson did not eat. As I had done the first time, I gave them the change I had in my pockets, which was always less than $1. Then we would move down the line to the last cell. Jefferson always lay on the bunk, either looking at the ceiling or facing the wall. Each time the deputy opened the door and locked us in, Jefferson had no more to talk about the second or third time when he did the first, and after we had spent an hour with him, we were let out. Each time with Miss Emma left the cell crying, and both times she told the young deputy to give the food to the other children. On Friday, our fourth visit, I left Irene Cole in charge of the school and instructed her to let the children go at 3. If she felt that they had done all their schoolwork before 3, she could dismiss them early, because it was getting older and most of the children would have work to do at home. I had to go down to my aunt's house to get my car. Then I drove back to the quarter to Miss Emma's. Usually she was waiting for me, but not today. I sat out there in the car a good 5 minutes, but no Miss Emma. I didn't want to blow the horn. I thought that might show impatience and disrespect. But still no Miss Emma. The door was shut and the only thing to give the place any sign of life was a trickle of white smoke rising occasionally out of the chimney. After sitting out there another couple of minutes, I put patience and respect aside. I pressed on the horn hard and long enough for everybody in the quarter to hear it. I had given up my class to take her to Bayonne, and she was not ready, and I wanted them all to know about it. Finally the door did open. My aunt came out to the porch and pushed the door shut behind her. She stood there watching me. I knew that stand. I knew that look. I knew that she was not coming one step farther and I would have to come to her. She still watched me as I got out of the car and came up to the walk. I stopped short of the porch. Something wrong with you? She asked me. I wanted to ask that same question about Miss Emma, but I held my tongue. Don't you know if she was able, she would be out here? Then why didn't she tell me she wasn't going? I could be teaching my class. Nobody said you wasn't going. You're saying I'm supposed to visit him alone? He's no king. Come on in here, boy, and get that bag, my aunt said. She watched me come up to the porch and go by her. Then she followed me into the house. Miss Emma was sitting at the fireplace in a rocking chair. She had on 2 sweaters, a black one over a green one. She had some kind of rag, possibly a baby's diaper, tied around her head. I stood in the center of the room near the hanging light bulb. I had the feeling that Miss Emma was not nearly as sick as she was pretending to be. For one thing, I had seen her that morning picking up chips in the yard, and she didn't look sick at all. And now I could smell fried chicken and baked potato, and I knew she could not have done all that if she was dying. My aunt sat down in the rocker next to Miss Emma. Now, both of them peered into the fireplace at the two half-burned logs that gave about as much fire as a candle would. Neither said a thing, as if they were sitting alone in deep thought. Then Miss Emma coughed twice, short and dry, to let me know that she was on her deathbed. Then silence again. There was smoke in the room, and I must have cleared my throat or something, because my aunt used that moment to speak. That food waiting? I didn't I didn't know where the food was waiting for me. I didn't look for it. I just stood back looking at them. "He don't have to go," Miss Emma said. She coughed again, reminding me that she was still on her deathbed. "Not if goin' be a burden." My aunt looked back at me. "I said that food waiting. Miss Emma, Miss Emma's dying, but you can't go with me," I said. "I don't have any good dress. I don't have on my good dress," my aunt said. "I can wait," I said. "No, you won't," she said. "Don't force him," Miss Emma said. "When I'm able to get on my feet, God willing, I'll get somebody else to take me up there. I don't want to be a burden on anybody." As I stood there listening to her, I realized that this had been planned from the beginning. All that other stuff that I went through was to lead up to this day. Going up to Pitch's house, meeting the sheriff, the 3 visits to the jail with her, all that was nothing but preparation for today. Didn't she say it was the first night at Pitchett's? "I'm old. My heart won't take it. I want somebody else to take my place." Didn't she say it? Sure she did, because it was planned even then. But she had had help, my aunt. She coughed again, quick, dry, faked as before. I told myself that what she needed was more wood on the fire. I went to the corner of the room where the wood was stacked, and I piled as many logs on my arms as I could stand up with. Then I threw them all into the fireplace. Sparks of fire shot across the hearth into the room. Its smoke and ashes shot up the chimney. I brushed off my clothes and stood there until the wood had started burning. "Can I do anything else, Miss Emma?" I said. "Maybe some cough syrup?" "You can watch your tongue, sir." "You can watch your tongue, sir," my aunt said. "I just want Miss Emma to get better," I said. "He don't have to go," Miss Emma said. "He's going," my aunt said. "If it's a burden," Miss Emma said. "Maybe I'll go halfway," I said. "Maybe I'll dump the food out there in the river. Fishes don't get much to eat in winter. Maybe they like fried chicken." "You better get that food out and get out of here if you know what's good for you," my aunt said. I went back into the kitchen and snatched the bag off the table. There was enough food in it to feed everybody in jail. Everything you sent me to school for, you're stripping me of it," I told my aunt. They were looking at the fire, and I stood behind them with the bag of food. The humiliation I had to go through, going into that man's kitchen. The hours I had to wait while they ate and drank and socialized before they would even see me. Now going up to that jail, to watch them put their dirty hands on that food, to search my body each time as if I'm some kind of common criminal. Maybe today they'll want to look into my mouth, or my nostrils, or make me strip. Anything to humiliate me. All the things you wanted me to escape by going to school. Years ago, Professor Antoine told me that if I stayed here, they were going to break me down to the nigger I was born to be. But he didn't tell me that my aunt would help them do it. She got up slowly, heavily, and went to Miss Emma, who had begun to shake her head and cry. Miss Emma sincerely did not want me to go now, but my aunt had not changed her mind for a moment. "I'm sorry, Mr. Grant. I'm helping them white people to humiliate you. I'm so sorry. And I wish they had somebody else we could turn to. But there ain't nobody else." So chapter 10 was pretty short. It's only 4 pages. So we know that Miss Emma is sick. Quotes. Miss Emma is sick, and does not want to be a burden. To be a burden. Page 79 talks a lot about what Grant was feeling. Talks about like how his professor told him that he was going to be the nigger he was born to be, and that his aunt was only helping them. Man, this book is actually pretty good. I like it. I mean, all the like segregation and all the unfairness that's going on. I don't know. He mentions, okay, so on the same page he mentions Professor Antoine. Okay, so at the end it's like, I'm sorry, Miss Grant, I'm helping them white people to humiliate you. I'm so sorry, and I wish they had somebody else we could turn to. So there's nobody else to turn to. No one else to turn to. Okay, so I'll begin chapter 11 on page 80. Okay, this is it. Goodbye.